Hey, Sharam, Namdarian here. Did you know how you look has very little to do with how attractive you are? Well, we're going to talk about it in this video. Boing! So, through all my years of coaching relationships and emotional healing and helping people create very interesting and very wonderful breakthroughs in their life, there is always one thing that comes up, is that attractiveness honestly is an arbitrary thing that as a society, we tend to get caught up in. So I want to talk about this because I really think it's important to focus on the non-physical. And there might be some people out there who watch a video like this and think, oh God, I'm not attractive because I look a certain way. And I want to fucking break that stereotype because honestly, there's a lot of bullshit ideas out there. As a society, what tends to happen is we tend to be sold an idea of what an attractive person is. Because if we think a certain kind of person is attractive and they are wearing a certain kind of pants or glasses or hat, we're more likely to buy that hat if we want to embody how that person feels. So we tend to get confused between what is attractive and what is marketing because, well, it sells. But let's talk about attraction in two levels. I want to talk about attraction as what happens when you are being attractive, and I want to talk about attraction versus with actually just attracting a person that you want. Now, before someone can become more attractive as a person, this is the first kind. The first kind is just being more attractive just in general. Before someone can become more attractive, there must always be some emotional breakthrough. This is why more often than not, when I'm privately coaching people, I do work with emotional surrender, emotional breakthroughs. What are the thoughts and feelings you have about yourself that block you from becoming more attractive, that block you from feeling more attractive yourself? Now, the reason why I say this is because more often than not, you look fucking around and how we look to the world is often a reflection of how we feel. Think of someone who is having a lack of confidence in how they look that day. What are the, oh God, I'm not very attractive. Maybe they're shy. Versus someone else who doesn't necessarily believe that they are maybe that attractive, but it doesn't matter if they are or they're not. They generally tend to be more open. So before we can allow ourselves to become more to become more attractive as a person, more often than not, there is a blockage. There is a lot of blockages that are processing, that are blocking us from actually being that person we're meant to be. You know, there might even the blockage that we have to look a certain way can be a blockage. Because do you have to look a certain way to be attractive? If you're a guy, do you have to have the six-pack? Fuck it, if you're a girl, do you have to have the six-pack? All of this stuff fucking gets in the way of who you are and your highest form of attractiveness, which is, to be honest, unconditional attractiveness. There's this idea that we have to be a certain way to be attractive. And do you know what's fucking challenging? The idea that you don't have to be or do anything to be attractive. That you are allowed to be fucking gorgeous as you are. That's challenging. Why is that challenging? Because we're told and we're sold to look and to buy and to be and to exercise a certain way. And more often than not, it's really interesting because I'll be working with someone or you might talk to someone and we don't give ourselves permission to be attractive. And sometimes that's motivation for exercise. They're like, well, if I work out, I'll look this certain way and then I'll be attractive. Now, what you end up finding is that sometimes when someone attains their dream body or momentarily attains their dream body, that in that moment, they finally give themselves permission to be attractive. But is that permanent? Sometimes not. This is where you get things like body dysmorphia. People work out, it gives them a momentary high, and then what happens? They're not fucking, it's not enough, it's never enough, and then they overdo it. Not saying that everyone is like this, but there are some cases where you might look that. That's why I often see, when I work with people, some people they think they are unattractive or they use that as motivation to work out. If that motivates you, fantastic, good work. But one of the most challenging things is recognizing that you do not have to be or look a certain way to be attractive. Look at me. I'm a bald egg man. Bald egg man. And I say this because, honestly, I've made another video on this. I had to heal my relationship with my baldness. I had to heal my relationship with my thinning hair and all my ideas about how a bald man looks a certain way and acts a certain way and all this sort of stuff. And you better believe, the first night I went out as a bald man, people were coming up to me telling me I was the most attractive not most attractive person. They're like, oh, you're so pretty, you're so attractive. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because suddenly I was feeling it. I was less blocked. I didn't have to think or be a certain way. Basically, the idea is if you want to be more attractive, you just have to remove the blocks or heal the blocks. And how do you heal? You surrender. We can talk about that always in every video. Not in every video, but some videos. Heal those blocks about yourself, because you are attractive as you are enough right now. But there's shit that gets in the way. You know that night where I went out and all these people were coming up to me telling me I was pretty? That was nuts. Because up until that point, I'm like, Mr. Sharam Namdarian, Mr. Social Coach, I will teach you how to talk to people. All you have to do is surrender. And there are fucking industries based on this shit where they're like, this is how you start conversations. And it's like, no one ever realizes that people can come up to you. It's trauma-based information. It's never dealing with the actual fucking trauma, healing it, allowing people to come to you. Now, topic number 2, because that's being more attractive, overall allowing people into your life. How do you attract your perfect partner? Well, here's the fucking insight. There's always a breakthrough towards that. What are the thoughts and feelings? Do you think you have to act a certain way? Do you think you have to be a certain way? Do you think you have to meet people and interact? All of this stuff, there's a relationship. You have a relationship not only with yourself when you're an attraction, but you have a relationship with your ideal partner, partners, whatever that so may be, that essentially we put our thoughts and feelings in there. So for example, like there are some people with dating. They're like, oh, dating is hard. I often say when I'm on Triple J, they're like, oh, but dating's difficult. It's like, yes, correct. Life's difficult. Sometimes we fight it and we want it to be less, and that mitigates the actual element of life itself. And sometimes we allow it to be difficult, and finally we can grow and just accept it's difficult and we can move on and be like happy. That's a healed response to the difficult nature of life and healing and relationships. So it's very interesting. It's very, very fucking interesting. But those blockages end up blocking you from your ideal partner. Now, it's often a common thing that there'll be a lot of people who watch, say, for example, videos online, and you're one of them, congratulations. And we get it in our head that certain things have to happen in order for us to, say, for example, attract our ideal partner. For me, when I met my girlfriend, one of my big blockages was I thought I had to keep learning about relationships. I'm a fucking relationship coach, a life coach, all this shit. I kept thinking I had to learn about it, and I was like, wait a second. Once that cycle ended, because that's healing, the best way to heal is to feel the emotional surrender. Once it's surrendered, we can move past it, we learn from it. My thing was I recognized finally through life-forced surrender, that is when life forces you to feel, that I was looking to learn. And I was like, I'm looking to learn to create, to attract my ideal partner. Why don't I just attract my ideal partner? Because every time I'm trying to learn, I'm unconsciously seeking the harder situations to learn from. And lo and behold, that's when I met my girlfriend. But this stuff is interesting because I'll talk to people and talk to guys, and they have this idea, this script, this pattern that they have to go through. Once they go through that pattern, then they allow themselves to. That's similar to bodies, right? Once they allow themselves to have a certain body, then they give themselves permission to have that. So attraction, being attractive, attraction, all of this stuff comes together, and you start to realize all of these ideas that we've had are a little bit nonsensical, a little bit arbitrary, that you yourself can just be attractive as you are, and that all you have to do, this is the work with anything, I'm now doing this more with business and stuff like that, is look at your relationship with the thing. Look at your relationship with your partner. Look at your relationship with your body. Look at relationship with your health. And surrender those emotions. You don't have to surrender to life. You just got to surrender to how it feels. That is, let yourself fully feel how you fucking feel. The highs, the lows, the everything. That lets the energy go through the pipe and you yourself are whatever. Now, I have a free audio out now that is on my website, link in the description, or if I can be bothered, there'll be a thing here if this is on YouTube. It's a introduction to coaching session, and it has a guided healing session inside. So feel free to grab that now. You can have a look at that. It's not an email sign up. I'm not trying to like grab your email and spam you. I'm not into that. So thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye. What I ended up finding out through my relationship coaching when I was working with people was that while a lot of people like to search online, you know, what to say and what to do because they feel a sense of self-doubt, really what's going on is that when someone is worried about what to say or what to do, they're actually afraid of something else. There is, dare I say, they are blocked in some way. Now, we're going to talk about what a blockage is soon if you don't already know what that is. So I discovered through my coaching that if I helped someone deal with, say, for example, their blockages towards relationships and confidence and dating and things like that, they started to open up.